members of the jury. It's an honor. My name is Emmanuel Chatijanka, and my colleague's name is Marimbu Usman Balago. It's an honor to stand before you presenting the thing democracy is the best way for the development of Africa. I've cherished the ideal of a democratic and a free society in which all persons live freely and with equal opportunity. It is an ideal that I hope to live for and to achieve, but also it's an ideal that I'm ready to die for. These were the words of Nelson Mandela in his fight for democracy. Africa, a continent endowed with immense potential, Africa, a continent immense with great potential, remains underdeveloped. Most African countries suffer from dictatorship, corruption, war, underdevelopment, and deep poverty. Numerous development strategies have failed to yield expected results. But Africa, in order to express that potential politically, socially, and economically, we will have to do so democratically, not through dictatorship, which is only one form of government in which one person or a group of people possess absolute power. Dictatorship is derived from a classic word, which is derived from Greek, meaning demo and krasia, which means people and rule respectively. It can also be understood to literally mean rule respectively. That is why Abraham Lincoln, in his Gettysburg speech, defined democracy as the rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. It encompasses social, cultural, religious, and fraternity. Once all these elements are gathered, our development is then possible. What is development, and what kind of development do we need for Africa? Julius Cambridge once cited that if a real development must take place, the people have to be involved. Democracy is a comprehensive social, cultural, and political process which aims at a constant improvement of the entire population and all individuals in their meaningful participation in development. Dictatorship are the people. Do they participate in development? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Of course, they are definitely going to give examples of successful dictatorship countries like China and the Asian tigers. But they forget to know that these countries, they not develop politically from a form of government or through a form of government, but they develop themselves economically through an economic policy. And they also forget that these countries were also individual entities and that Africa is a continent with 54 states.
Hello everybody. I want just to remember you that development is not only about economics. It also gathers political and social aspects. And there have been huge changes on the political scene in Africa, with elections, multipartyism, civil society, and human rights as the new political cliché. Most authoritarian regimes have been forced to yield the political space and grant to the people civil and political rights. And by 1999, 3/4 of the countries in Africa have organized national elections, almost on a multi-party basis. And by the creation of a system where the public can remove administrations without, of course, changing the legal basis of the government, democracy aims at reducing the political instability and assuring citizens that, however much they may disagree with the policies, they will be given a chance to change those who are in power or change the policies with which they disagree. So this is preferable to a system where political changes take place through violence, as we can see it in many dictatorships in Africa and all around the world.
Because of the African people's disorganization, the self-interest and the carelessness encourage the hazy management. Some people think that the democracy can develop Africa. Other people think that dictatorship can develop Africa. So democracy gives the supreme authority to people, whereas the dictatorship obliges people to follow the direction, the orientation of the chief. See? So when we aspire the development, do you think, must we let people to do whatever they want? What kind of people must have the complete freedom of action? You see, it's not those people who say that the money, nobody can work it by the sweat of their brow, but we trade it. It's not those people. So the dictatorship, we use it in the specific context, not all the contexts, you see. So we name or we elect president in order to be the differentiation. He must not be the same level with other people. And there's only the specific and the minority group who makes decision. Majority cannot make decision. You see, when we meet someone and you tell him that we entrust you the country, he has to manage the country as you want and as he wants. But you lead someone and you want to control him. What is the sense of electing him? There is no sense. You see, the leadership, nobody was not born to be a leader. A leader is born among the people, but not at the same level of consciousness of the people. You see? So in this kind of country where people incarnate their own interest, where people are not mobilized, where people are selfish, we need the man, the real man, who can control them. You see? But if you let everyone do whatever he wants, we go into the anarchy. And the solution for the anarchy is a dictatorship. You see? What country?
I try at least to gather some points, some basic points. He put dictatorships as a way to bring development through efficient and straightforward decision making. Well, whenever a dictator takes a decision, be it right, straightforward, or even divine revelation, there is no mechanism to balance the consequences of the results. You talk about Gaddafi bringing economic growth in his country. But my teammates mentioned earlier that development is not only about economic growth. Development has to go with social development, social aspects, political aspect as well. You put dictatorship as also a good breeding grounds for personal discipline and order. It's undeniable that any ruling government in the world needs discipline in order to prosper. Especially in Africa, we need discipline. And dictators can manage to enforce that discipline on people. But is dictatorship itself a good breeding ground? That's the question you should be asking yourself.
I'm very sorry, awfully sorry for you. Because when you talk about democracy, what is democracy in Egypt? What is democracy in Cairo or in Libya? When people said that dictator is not God, and they put away that, and where is the democracy that they are looking for? Until now, we do not see it. And where is those people who talk about democracy? America, their foreign policy, they make champion with other people. There is democracy in it? No, I don't think so. So people here today, I think what we have to do, and we have to put aside democracy and look for another word for this situation, because we are not equal in front of a democracy or right of people. When you go in France, people are not left to do their rights. And when you go to the United States, they say that democracy, but no, this is just an expression, just an ideology, but it doesn't exist. I'm telling you guys. In some countries, in Egypt or in China, when people develop, they will organize a dictator because people respect them. They have just one leader and all follow him. If we talk about democracy here in Senegal, we do not have it. I'm telling you. When you go down to parliament, there are some laws that are passed that I am not agree with. And they do not ask me and you. And that I think that democracy is not true, it's just a concept and ideology that people use for their own right. Thank you.